the councillors in attendance?
Yes,
You?
I have you, Joe.
May I have a motion for approval of the agenda, please?
So moved.
Moved by councillor Ennis, do I have a seconder?
Second.
Second by councillor Drake. Any question on the agenda? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Do we have any declaration of conflicts of interest this evening? Hearing none, we're okay. Correspondence, we have none. Any new business? We have Barb and Monty Murphy from the Keswick Valley Rec Council. They're going to speak to us about the Larry Gold Field, so we would ask Barb and Monty if you would like to come up and have a seat.
And Krista McKeel as well.
And Kristen?
Move again, Krista, C-H-R-I-S-T-A.
Krista. Okay.
Next week.
Actually, probably better off not sitting in a rolly chair.
Okay.
Do you want me to take one of those? Sure. Like so many others, waiting on a hit, right? Waiting on a hit, thank you.
Okay, then.
Yeah, that's fine, thank you.
You coming up, Monty?
Well, yes, I can.
See you over here.
Okay.
So we didn't really bring a presentation. We have a little set of notes that we made up along quite a while ago about just who we are and what we do, about our Keswick Valley Recreation Council. A group of community-minded volunteers organized as a rec council purchased a field in Upper Keswick in 1965 to build and operate an outdoor rink. This was named Fisher Field in 1967 to commemorate Canada's centennial year. The first field day of activities was held in June 1967. So we all remember the horse poles, the canteen, the rink shack, and all the fun of that era. Hence, the Keswick Valley Recreation Council was incorporated on June 4th, 1969, and has operated continuously since that date, providing facilities and activities for the community. The former Upper Keswick School was deeded to the Rec Council in December of 1974, after having been leased from the province since 1970. And the Robin Group seniors became tenants in common in 1979 in order to qualify for federal government funding to help build the addition to the back of the building in 1980. The outdoor rink was dismantled when the Keswick Valley Regional Complex was built. But Fisher Field has continued to serve the children and adults as a ball field to this day. It was renamed the Larry Gould Field in 2014 to recognize the decades of dedication Larry has given to the kids and ball programs. I don't know if you realize this is Larry's daughter, Krista. That's why she's...
Okay.
The Gould family has actually the most stake in this field of anybody, I believe.
Thank you.
So that's kind of a little bit of the background on the field and who we are and what we do. Just for fun, last fall I started bringing down some old minutes and notes from meetings back in the 1960s and 70s just to read. The Rec Council at that time was a going concern, literally had pages and pages of members. Door-to-door campaigns for memberships, like everybody bought that $5 membership to the Rec Council. Now we are 7 or 8 people struggling to keep this thing going. But anyway, kind of a little interesting story back in the day when the dam was being built and the governments of the day were trying to come up with local projects to kind of compensate the neighborhoods for being so disrupted and all of the expropriations and all that stuff. So the proposal put forth for the York County region was York County Centennial Picnic Park. Now, the Recreation Council, from what I have read, took great umbrage at this because they said a picnic park, it was a very rural area at that time, let's face it. Everybody had their own fields and their own backyards to have picnics in. This was not going to be a big attraction for the local folks. It was going to be a tourist attraction for people coming in and people coming out of the city, but it wasn't really the project that they had described they wanted to build for something for the local community. So the Recreation Council made presentations, wrote letters, everywhere and everything they could do to have what this field is, what we now call Fisher Field, improved and built up as a recreation field for the whole community. They had a whole proposal put forward for, you know, the arena to be improved and buildings, you know, buildings and water and power and all that kind of stuff to go on it. But as you know, the York Centennial Park was built. And Fisher Field was left to the Recreation Council to deal with. So anyway, we are now where we are. The Goulds have struggled to keep some softball going there for some years. This year they didn't even have enough kids sign up to do a team. They had, unlike most years when you had kids and no coaches, they had coaches lined up and couldn't find enough kids to play. So the building was maintained, the field was maintained this summer, mowed and kept up, but nobody played on it this summer. So we heard scuttlebutt through the neighborhood that there was some interest, that the council may be interested in purchasing the field from us as part of their overall plan for recreation in the community. And as I say, the 7 or 8 of us that are struggling to keep going thought, well, there'd be resources and people and plans in place that maybe that field could be put to better use than what we are able to do with it now. So we're willing to hear your proposals, and we'll answer whatever questions that we can.
Okay, thanks. I don't know if we have a proposal, but as you know, we purchased the property just on the west side of it from Howard Hanson
Okay,
that runs along beside Fisher Field there,
so would that be down closer to the rec center or up the other way?
the other way.
Okay, the other way, okay.
So anyway, the municipality owns that. We'd like to improve that, but we'd also like to improve the ball field in future years, probably not all at once, but we have no lighted ball field at the moment. The one at Keswick Ridge, the lights have gone down and come down, and there's no lights there. We're also looking at pickleball, trying to expand into pickleball to some degree because it's the fastest growing sport, they say, in the world, and we don't have a lot of availability for pickleball. There's some at Estes Bridge. They use the Keswick Ridge School in the yard to some degree in the summer. So I guess just thoughts of expanding that way. But there's a lot of work to do to the field beside the Fisher Goal Field or whatever before we can even use the property we purchased. So I'll open it up for council to ask questions here and start with Councillor Downey.
I guess what we were wondering is what your vision for it would be if it did come to us, and what you would hope for.
Go ahead.
We'd love to see it be used as a recreation spot.
Okay.
I'd hate to see it become a motorized vehicle spot. My dad's vision has always been about the kids.
Okay.
He taught at Keswick Valley for many years, coached kids there for many years. He coached all summer long, he coached at the arena. He's passed some of that on to his kids. Unfortunately, I am not coaching anymore, but Mr. Annis can attest to the fact that I did, sorry, you're still Mr. Annis. To the fact how many years I had coached as well. Unfortunately, my dad is not well.
Okay.
So he doesn't even realize that it's not being used as a ball field, right? It's not that it's not being used as a ball field, he doesn't realize because he's not, and I honestly feel that part of it is because he's not behind it pushing it.
Yeah.
There were times we'd have 100 kids on that field, and not so long ago. So it's where the field is located. It's very much aging population around it, on both sides. And I happen to be fortunate enough to be married into the family that owns the other side.
Okay.
So as long as it was being used for the kids, for the community, as a recreation spot, we might even be able to help in that way.
Okay.
And of course, with Keswick there, we want to make sure that the Keswick is well maintained and again, using Wayne, he can probably also say how clean the Keswick is at most times, and I have been on the Keswick many times myself and would like it to stay that way.
Yeah,
too.
absolutely.
I think, like, I've I should be, but, I feel bad that my dad can't be here and share with you because he would be able to put it forth a lot better than I can.
You're doing fine.
It's,
Yeah.
it's really, kids.
I think our visions are the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your dad was actually on the local service district committee for
He
years.
was, yeah. Yeah, most, I mean, he's not coached your kids, he knows someone that he probably has coached, and, unfortunately, he's not able to do that. My husband, built two wonderful, in 2010, when we had the big flood, and after they had done so much work to the field, they had to repair the fence, they lost the dugouts, a lot of things changed with that. They had to put up a new backstop,
And we're cautious of that.
yeah.
It's flood prone, it's not often, but it can happen
It can
every
happen, yeah.
20 years or.
It seems to be that, yes. So we lost a lot, repaired a lot. My husband, in the last 2 years, built dugouts, brand new dugouts for the field. But things like bleachers are not there, it's just a small storage shed for equipment. We still have lots of equipment stored in my dad's shed that he doesn't even know that's there, but, you know, we would certainly make sure that that was all at the field for it to be used, so.
Deputy Mayor, do you have any questions?
No, you pretty much answered everything with that. I don't know if you know or not, but we're in the early stages of undergoing a 5-year strategic plan, and recreation is definitely something that all of us have been very keen on. From what you're saying, it's aligning with what we're thinking. I guess the big question will be, just, you know, how you wanna go about disposing of property and whatnot.
I have a question that might seem that it's not fair to ask, but will it still be known as the Lyric Field?
There's no reason it shouldn't.
Yeah, that was kind of, we wondered if that could be stipulated in whatever transaction happens, that name should stay.
And I may add too, that we're in the process of acquiring the Keswick Valley Arena
Yes.
for the
we know that.
municipality. So, over on the large scope, we will have a recreation director at some point in time, I don't know when that'll be, but to look after the rec areas, which would include this piece if we do acquire it from your people, along with the rink and our boat launches and things like that, although the boat launches are only leased for the time being, and there was vision that maybe that boat launch that we have is not too far away, maybe it should be on those premises. But that's just a thought as of yet, so. But there will be a recreation plan shortly, so. And it's,
Have you seen the layout of the land up there? Because you go down in the field, there's a section back down here belongs to the rec center as well. It's all part of the same field. I don't know if you're aware of that or not, but.
I don't know if our CAO is or not, he's
Yeah.
mainly deals with that.
Yeah, like you say, when you go down in the field there, it's down to the gate, and you go right down the ball field to your left, and you go down to the big section in, goes this way.
Okay.
Goes right along the Keswick River there. And it's just, you know, there's a lot more land than what you might think there is, until you see a surveyed lot of it.
Okay.
But we are, our rec center, we are willing to let you guys take it over, sell it to you for $1, whatever it takes, as long as,
That's a good deal.
no, let's say, as long as Skip tries to use it as a recreation thing, because we did hear some ugly rumors, not many of you people, that somebody said in the community, do a racetrack there for ATVs and four-wheelers and go-kart races and lawnmower races. And we said no, because we know the guy up front, Arnold McPhee. Every time we had that ball field going, if the ball got up close to his place, he'd complain like halibut. When there was traffic going down in there, he'd complain. And there was a talk back 25, maybe 30 years ago, because it was his family that sold this piece of property to the rec center, that they said if we ever sell it, it's gotta go back to them. But there's no paperwork on that, and that's just a rumor. But that was 40 years ago, or 30 years ago. And I think I was on the rec center at the time, and we investigated that, and there was no truth to it. There was nothing produced saying, it was just hearsay.
And we got fresh copies of the deed.
Fresh copies of deeds, yeah.
There's nothing on that that says anything about it.
The rec center building in that property, are they separated?
Yes, yes, yeah. Yeah, the deed for that property. It's deeded in the name of the Keswick Valley Recreation Council Incorporated, but they're totally separate pieces of
Okay.
property.
Councilor Brewer?
What would you like to see there listed besides like softball and things like that?
In the last meeting, we had discussed even things like, community fair once in a while, a children's fair once in a while, like, cause you can still do those things and not destroy a ball field, right? You can still do that, so. It's certainly, I had actually reached out and to get, because when it rains, the field has lots of water on it, and we would spend time, I remember hours of bucketing water off the field. So I'd actually reached out to a couple of different places about getting, the right kind of, it's not topsoil, but the right kind of, so those sort of things would have to be done probably, maybe, I'm not sure, unless you just use the outfield to set up tables and events. The other thing is there's no electricity. So I don't know if it would be using generators, and then you also worry about, gas and stuff in the field, so I don't, unfortunately don't know how all of that works, but,
But there was power back in the field.
There was.
When we had the outdoor arena there,
yes,
and the rink shack.
yeah.
We had canteen running there, and, yeah, so there was power there then, so it's certainly not impossible to run
Yeah, I
power.
would think,
out there.
right?
Power there.
Yeah,
We also had a pump there for water as well.
Yeah.
there was that old trailer. Was
Yes,
that-
one
Yeah.
time we had a mobile down there, so we'd have cold running water bathrooms.
But I'm not sure, I think it might have been just a sand point
That
at
was
the
the other
time.
thing, no bathroom.
Yeah,
had one, yeah.
and then the old mobile got to be in such bad shape, they had to have a whole
There's supposed to be power poles down in that area.
well, that's,
It's either way, power's not,
It's not
That's the
happening right
time.
now,
it's not a big issue.
No,
There's
no,
power down
but
there,
it
so
could be, right? And,
it'll need power someday.
I mean, we used to rent porta potties for the summer
Mhm.
for softball, so.
Councilor Edwards?
Do you have any new young families moving in, or is it like my area where it's almost all seniors?
In the immediate area, it's all seniors.
right around that.
Yeah.
I know there is one like, around the park. There used to be 1,000 kids everywhere.
Yeah. I know.
But now they've even dismantled the fence that was around the ball
We
field.
guys saw that, yeah, that's,
That's all.
yeah. They have had, like adult softball there too, but again, you were saying about the McPhee's, they're
Something about metal bats and wooden bats,
It's
I
a
don't remember the controversy.
it's a smaller field, so it, you know, if you get somebody who can hit the ball, then they do have to be concerned
But
about
there are
it.
some issues with some adjoining houses.
They're not, the McPhee home is,
Is it the noise, or is it if the ball might hit their house?
no, I think it's more about the ball. than the house.
Not about the noise.
I don't think so. It's, if you could, we used to sit out on our front deck, cause I live near the ball field, and listen to the kids down there, and there's nothing better than kids laughing and cheering, and so I'm pretty, and, the McPhee family also, their sons both played ball, their granddaughter played ball. So they were down cheering, and one time I was mowing, and Arnold come down on his lawn tractor and helped me finish the field, so I think they would be okay with, depending on how it is used, I think they would be happy to see. I'm sure it was a quiet summer this summer for them, but it would, I mean, we used to have ball probably 3 or 4, maybe even 5 days a week, so depending on.
And he did complain 2 years ago, somebody did about the noise, cars going down there, and that's why we got a big fence across there, so people can't drive next, people going down there drinking, which is normal, young people don't do that, probably older people as well, and that's why we put the fence there and locked it. And I don't know who has the key for it, maybe you guys do, and that's why that was there, because
You
back
pretty
then.
much gotta do that if you've got any driveway going down to some deserted
Yeah,
spot.
oh,
because-
yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, anyway.
CAO, do you have any questions?
Not that you have a specific amount in mind, but if you are looking at selling it to Central York, are you looking for like a market rate or?
Oh, honestly, we didn't get that far. On the original deed, we bought it for $300 in 1960 whatever.
Sounds
now-
fair.
That was fine.
It's easier to dollar next time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for a million.
Well, a lot of times you can sign a piece of property over anything for $1 to make it legal.
I,
I mean, we don't really need the money in one sense of it, because you guys are giving us the money now to operate our rec center.
Right.
So we not do we need the money.
At the end of the day, it's the
Yeah.
taxpayers' money.
yes,
That's right.
yes. And for the joy and the wonder of seeing this field improved upon and used again, and us not have to do it. I'm telling you, we're literally, most of us 70, whatever, 60, whatever, and 7 or 8 of us, we just, bless your heart. The rest of us trying to struggle along here, that, to see an influx of not just capital, but maybe manpower and young people enthused about getting at it again,
Right.
would be a big boon to our
Okay.
morale here, so.
But you guys would have to do the paperwork in order to acquire it.
Yeah, the legals are gonna cost some money.
Yeah,
I know that from stuff we've done on our
Yes.
properties. The legals
Yeah.
cost money. The
Yes.
surveyor guys and the legal guys, they all cost money, so.
Councilor Forbes?
Same thing that Dave just said a minute ago was where it's the people that would own any of these infrastructures, like the residents.
Yes.
It's not like it's going to a private organization, same as the arena, that's becoming owned by the taxpayers that have been
yeah.
looking after it, using it for, since its inception. So, anything that would happen with the field would have to be something that floated through a group like this
Yeah.
now or in the future, and, which are all community members that have a stake in it.
And I'm just telling you, we're not gonna be hard bargainers, I don't think, because really, our aim here is to see the field maintained and
Being
improved
used,
and
being
used.
used.
We've discussed a lot over the last couple of years about having, staff and rec directors, and taking on the arena kind of builds that up to be able to need some staff, maybe year round, to do different things around the community with different recreational facilities that exist now or could exist in the future, so we see it as another bonus area that could be improved upon.
Bonnie always talks about when they first started talking about this big indoor arena, there was all this talk, it was for the curling circus, it was gonna be used all summer, it was gonna be all this amazing stuff, and none of that has, come to pass. It's a hockey rink, I mean, 98% of the time, and a couple hours a week you're skating on it, but it's essentially a hockey rink. And it would be wonderful to see some other things go on there too. When my kids were little, there was learn to skate at least on Sundays, so little kids could, they actually hired somebody to come and do some,
Yeah, but there's figure skating there too.
well, yes,
Yeah.
early,
Very,
pre-figure skating.
figure skating, yeah.
But that doesn't even happen anymore, so it would be wonderful to see that building expanded into more than just, hockey's wonderful for those families and those kids that are playing it, it's a thing.
And we've discussed around this council a few times during this committee about the arena and how it could be used year round, so.
Yeah,
Like, it gives the opportunity for the community to have that, it's a little bit of, opportunity to look and search for other funding sources that can only municipalities have access to,
Yeah.
which we have that benefit now. And different things along that, it's nothing but more improvement should come from anything that we see here. We're from here too, like,
yes,
Yeah.
your
we wanna
kids,
see the same stuff,
your kids and eventually grandkids are gonna be whatever.
we wanna see the same stuff.
Yeah, so, like I say, we'll be amenable to, making this work, because, I say, we're a small and aging group, various capabilities, and it would be wonderful to see it, to be expanded and used, and for the benefit of the kids in the community, so.
Councilor Ennis?
Just a few things that come to my mind. First of all, it's very commendable that you and the committee have the group have worked together to sustain that over all those years. It's very commendable. And I think it's when we as a community develop partnerships with various agencies and work together strategically that it makes our community stronger. And I would say that from what I'm hearing, it would be a great complement to the adjacent property, and it's very timely because lately Mayor and Council have been discussing possibilities of what that purchased land could be used for. And this would dovetail nicely into that when we think about the priorities that we as a community have, and those include things like heritage, things like protecting the environment, things like wellness and recreation. And so it very strongly fits into where we're headed as a group of people around this table as we try to acquire assets that will benefit the community in the long term and strategically build things for those very reasons that I talked about. So thank you.
I mean, remember the good old days? There was a grandstand on that field back in the 70s. They had horse poles there at the summer events. And then unfortunately the grandstand burned. We never, do I know the story? Did they ever find
Yeah,
out how it was?
somebody brought it one night.
And once it was gone, it was gone. There was no incentive to return it. But we had amazing things up there. They had booths for all kinds of little games and stuff. One year we even had a skydiver land there during our events there one time. So it has the capacity, it has the possibility to be something great again. We'd love to see that happen.
Councillor Craig?
No real big questions, but I just think it's a marvelous property and would love to see the outdoor skating come back to that spot.
Ooh.
Just to open it up for the community to have alternate spots to go besides just the arena. You know, go there, have some hot chocolate, little fire, a couple of supervised times a week.
See, they had an outdoor arena years ago, well, Barb and I was going together back 50 years ago. They had a rink shack there. One side was the room to get your skates on, and the other side they had a little canteen, and had a stove there so you could warm up.
Yeah, it'd be perfect.
It was actually two-story.
Two-story, yeah, well, the
Story and a
basement was
half,
where they
wasn't
kept
it?
the basement where they kept the pump down the river.
Yeah,
And,
a lot of potential there.
and what they did, they didn't have anybody per se as cleaning the ice off, with no zambonis or anything. Anybody was skating there, here's a scraper, those old big old metal scrapers, like that
That's
one.
how it always was in the old days. You wanna play, you got a cleaner.
Yeah. So, I mean, that stuff was there years ago, but it just,
It should be back.
So this seems doable and it's,
Oh, yes,
definitely,
yes,
yeah.
from our end, it's definitely doable.
yeah, we talked about the other night at our council meeting, and we agreed to let the ball field go, if you guys are interested in buying it, work out some kind of a deal, like I
There's
said.
no timeline,
No
like I said, there's
timeline,
no,
whatever
we
you guys-
understand you're in the process of a lot of other things at once, so we'll keep on keeping on as best we can until then, but
You had the first dibs, how that?
we, we wanna see it continue as a recreation property, we don't wanna sell it private, because there would be people
Oh, yeah.
for the access to the river, if nothing else.
exactly.
We had a fellow approach us last year, wanted to know, because he lives apparently on the other side of the river, but his approach is uncomfortable, shall we say, to get down to the river, and he wanted to know if he could come down through our property and use our side to get down to the river. We just kinda had a look at it, and thought, no, that's getting into something we don't really wanna
The thing
do.
about that, if the municipality owns it, it's public for everybody to use, not an individual. And it's retained future years for the general public to
Yes,
use.
yeah,
It's a way of protecting it in a sense,
Yes,
to
yeah,
ensure that it's
yeah.
owned by the
Yes,
residents and the people
yes.
that live here, not.
It never used to be a closed gate, it's only been in the last,
15 years, 15, 18 years maybe?
Yeah,
and
times
it's been a
have
ball field
changed.
for
Yeah, oh yeah.
many, many years.
Some electricity and bright lights and that'll probably fix most of the problem.
Yeah. And Connie at her door watching them go down.
And it would fix Arnold too.
Yes.
Can you give us the figure that you're looking for, so?
actually, we didn't talk that hard, I made the joke, I said, heck. I'd sell it to them for $1 for the promise of it, that it would be maintained as, and they take care of the legals and the survey and all that stuff, whatever has to be done, because we haven't got a lot of money in the bank for that kind of stuff. But it was not passed as a motion that way or anything, so.
So we'll leave it to you, so you can get back to our administrators.
Okay, so you seriously want us to look at numbers?
Well, we have to pass it through council, but
Yes.
from the consensus I get here this evening, I don't see any
It's not a hard sell.
red flags in council,
Okay,
so.
okay,
Well,
alright.
our group the other night there, nobody said we should sell it for this.
So I was gonna say, we
Most of
didn't,
the consensus was, let's just
it wasn't,
see
it
what the
wasn't,
proposal
but we
is.
would actually have to pass it as a motion.
Oh,
if
yeah,
we
yeah, we
decided
can
to
do that,
Yeah, so.
Definitely want at least legal costs and fees.
Yes.
and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
So you take care of the survey and then the legal stuff, because I know how fast that stuff adds up.
Okay, so,
Alrighty, so we leave it at that?
any
Okay.
other questions? Yes.
What is the assessed value on it?
Oh, gosh, she
She just
had the
got it.
tax assessments at the meeting the other
She
day,
said
and
it had gone up.
and I didn't write down what it
I said it
was.
was probably Mike's new,
A good figure to start with.
Okay, yeah, so she did have the assessment papers there the other night, the treasurer got them in her.
Well, she could email it to you, one,
Well,
or,
we
The
have another.
the assessment value won't hinge one way or
No.
another.
No, it's just as she says, it's kind of a place to start.
Yeah.
It's like when you're selling your own property, right, it's a place,
Well, we have the same problem where I live,
which is where you're
Lower Queensburg.
We really appreciate though you coming to meet with us and
No.
especially with that vision of it being a continued community asset, which is exactly what we want to.
I'd like to thank you for taking your
Anything
time,
else you
your
wanna add before we go?
busy schedule, and coming to see us.
Like I say, Krista and her family have invested so many lifetimes,
We appreciate
more than
it.
their own lifetimes, adult
Well,
lifetimes.
yeah,
Our aim, if council takes it over, will be not disappointed.
Okay.
thank you.
Yes, because a lot of kids even use that from up Painesville,
Oh, yeah.
I hear.
Thank you very much.
It would be wonderful to see it back in use again.
Take care and safe travels.
Oh, yes, it's cold. The older I get, the harder it is to go after supper.
So we've got just a couple minutes left. Is there any other topic you wanna discuss quickly as a committee at all?
Sure. I know the tax sale for properties was on 17th of January, I think. Would it be strategic for us to look at that piece on Crowville area? Is there anything we could do on that for the in-ground tank project?
as far as just like, going to look at it,
No, in terms of making an offer.
we have to wait till it goes through the process.
Okay, I
Through the
thought,
process. So it didn't sell at the tax sale, I don't believe, especially, they were asking for a lot of money.
yeah.
But I think it was through the process, yes, but then they come back and they put another price on it, but that hasn't happened yet.
Okay,
So there's a little bit of a process after that first sale.
okay, good enough. We'll just have to keep watching for it then.
Yes, yes.
Fair enough.
Any other short topic?
Want me to start that process?
Pardon me?
So the piece of land, if it didn't go by tax sale, it goes back to BTI. And their whole project is first offered to First Nations, and then it's offered to municipalities.
Oh,
If
good.
there's any interest,
Good.
before it goes out for public sale again.
Oh, that's encouraging.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only other update, Mayor, would be there's been additional work done on the citizen settlement dry hydrant. It's now back in operation. There's been additional gravel added at no cost to us, is my understanding. And the excavator's still sitting there, so I don't know what else he's gonna do, but at least it is operational. We tested it, not this past Monday, but the Monday before, and it was beautiful. Yeah.
Perfect. So if there's nothing else, get a motion to adjourn our committee of the whole meeting, moved by Councillor Edwards, with a seconder. Seconded by Councillor Downing. All those in favor?